an honor and a privilege to introduce everyone to Becky M. She's our main speaker for the evening. Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Hi, everybody. I'm Becky, alcoholic. Just for today, I don't drink, I don't use no dope, and it wasn't like that when I got here, and I'm so grateful. And I want to thank Mac for calling me and asking me if I would come here and share my experience, strength, and hope. Jody for sharing for 10 minutes. I love you, lady. I love you, lady. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. I love today. Oh, that's crazy. I always hated. I really did, and I really enjoyed it. You know, my sober date, September 10th, 1989. That's the best day of my life and the worst day of my life. Things happened on that day that I can't explain, but God knows what happened. I want to share what it was like, what happened, what it's like now. And I hope that this message reaches those that don't have hope. I like the ones that don't even know they're drunks. I didn't know I was an alcoholic. I got here. I felt ill with you people. I got so sick with alcoholism in AA. It's crazy. There was nothing wrong with me when I met you folks. Nothing. It was your fault. Something was wrong with you all. Something was wrong with my parents. Something was wrong with my husbands. I had a couple of them. Something was wrong. God. Oh. You know what? God was going to fry me in hell when I met you people, and I was going to knock the dog crap out of him. He really messed up. He didn't do it right. But yeah, I didn't have it right when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous. But this is the miracle of Alcoholics Anonymous. I believe this is what happened to Becky, and I hope it happens to you if you're not sober today. You know, I believe that alcoholics prayed my butt in here. At the end of our meeting, 9 times out of 10, we join hands. We say the Lord's Prayer, the Serenity Prayer, or prayer of your choice. And before that, we say this. We ask that we take a moment of silence for the still suffering alcoholic inside and outside of these rooms. And I was outside of these rooms. And I'll tell you where I was. My mama, Carol, she was my sponsor and my first ever sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous that took me through the steps. She told me, AA is like this, Becky. Picture a beauty shop. Picture somebody sitting in that chair getting their hair done. Picture people waiting in line. Picture that beautiful lady getting out of that chair and leaving. And picture those that haven't got in line yet. And that's how AA is. You know, you're either out there, you're in line, you're in the chair, you're good to go. You're in some place in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I pray that if you're out there and haven't gotten in line yet, you just come on in. I started drinking when I was 14 years old, and I started drinking to never stop till I got sober. I was 31 years old in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. But before I was 14, this is what happened. My parents drank. They'd have a glass of wine before dinner. And you know what Becky did? Because I believe Becky's alcoholic. Before I hit that wine, I drank the rest of the wine out of that glass. And the next thing you know, I don't know how long it was, because my memory doesn't know nothing when I'm drinking. I got a forgetter on my shoulder, folks. It just doesn't work. In Alcoholics Anonymous, by the grace of God, it works sometimes. I'm just really grateful. But anyway, so one evening, I went to have my little drink of wine, and the wine glasses were washed out, and they were upside down in the sink. What do you think that did to Becky? That messed me up. So the next thing you know, there's bottles. My dad, he was like a carpenter, but he wasn't. He was just really good at making stuff. And so he has this beautiful cabinet, and inside this beautiful cabinet is all these beautiful bottles of booze. And you know what? I guess, I don't even know, but my sister, she's not here with me tonight. I asked her to come, but she's my sidekick. I love her so much. But anyway, so what I would do, I guess, I'd drink it, and then guess what happened next? There was these marks on the bottles. No, seriously, there was marks on those bottles. You know, I didn't live in that house too much longer after that. I mean, my parents and I went toe to toe. I don't even know. You know, they'd send me to school. I was supposed to get on a bus, or I don't know what. I ended up hitchhiking. I don't know. That's a hot mess. I was this little kid being a mess. So by the time I was 14 years old, I'd had it with that house. And they say in Alcoholics Anonymous to take your tennis shoes off and quit running. And that was Becky. I had my tennis shoes on and I was running. I was born and raised in LA. However, we had to move to Lancaster, California because I was allergic to smog. I always gave my parents grief from the gate. So we're up here in Lancaster, and my mom has resentments because she had to leave a really great job, and my dad, he had to work, and I don't know, none of us got along. So there was this beautiful place, it was called Angeles Crest Forest, and I would find that thing. I mean, I would hitchhike there, I'd canagle you into giving me a ride, and you'd stay there a few days with me. Your parents would be looking for you. I messed up a lot of families. I'd bring people with me. Oh, hostages, they call them in AA. Yeah, I would waylay you to do what I wanted to do. And so 14 years old, I had my tennis shoes on, I was running because that house wasn't right. Besides that booze that was in that cupboard, it was a beautiful house inside and out. There were things going on inside that house that should not be. And I knew it. And it's another reason why I had my tennis shoes on, because I couldn't do it. Whatever it was going on in there, I couldn't do it. So by the time I was 16 years old, I was married. And this is how I got married. If you're alcoholic like me, this is how you get married. I'll share the alcoholic way. I don't know the normal way. I've never done it. So I'm in an apartment with my sister, my poor sister. You guys are going to feel sorry for her by the end of this talk. So I'm with my sister in Van Nuys, California. And I'm supposed to be going to school, never saw school, I don't know. I knew it all. I don't know, my middle name's Kia, K-I-A, know it all. So I didn't go to school. I had my boyfriend move on in with us. My poor sister, she didn't know what hit her. And then I'm thinking Van Nuys is cool because they have the strip, Van Nuys Boulevard, and I'm walking, not driving. I'm walking, and we're smoking dope, and we're drinking, we're having a great time, and I'm thinking, this is great. This is a good place. Oh, what a numbie. So anyways, and one day my parents come knocking on the door, and they tell me and him that they're taking us to Vegas and we're getting married. Oh, really? We are? That's what they did. So we go with them, we get married, and poor Jeff's parents had no clue. Oops, that was a big no-no. Poor people, they didn't know it hit them. There goes that family. So 16 to 18, I'm on a merry-go-round, drinking, using, having a great time. And people want to hit Becky for some reason. I don't even get it. And so I had to get rid of him because he'd leave me out in the desert to die and stuff. I mean, this isn't right. I'd be telling my parents, my poor mom, I feel sorry for her. But anyway, so by the time I was 18, I was divorced from him and on to the next. So I ended up in Spokane, Washington. Guess who was there in the military? I've been in the Navy and the Air Force, by the way, but I've never been in. Just joined the folks. So my sister, yep, I go to Spokane, Washington, and move right in. I moved into the barracks. I said, no. You don't really move into the barracks, actually. I did. So Christy moved out, I moved in, and I was sicker than a dog. I was so sick. I had the flu, guys, until I met you folks. I know what really was going on. I was without nothing for 2 weeks. I was in withdrawal so bad and had no clue till I met you people. You know when I got better? He came along with the jack. Boy, he wanted to share that with Becky, and I said, yep, and off we went. And I felt great. I got all better. No more flu. That's crazy. And then, I don't know, maybe it might have been a month, might not, but here comes these tall men with these things all over them, little burrs, kernels and stuff. And that escorted me off base. Can't be here. Can't live here. Oh, no? So I was married for 18 years. Oh, boy. Yeah, so 18 years. Two sons. By the time I got sober, beautiful house, couple cars, Mikey, Danny, 5 and 6 years old. And in between, it was just drinking and drugging, hurting you, hurting me, hurting people. End of story. I met this beautiful lady. Her name was Kim. And, I'm a taker. I know about you alcoholics. Before you got sober, you're all givers, right? Love to give. Not much. I love to take. So her husband did newspapers. And he worked for the LA Times, or one of the ones that had all those coupons. And mind you, this alcoholic obsesses and, knocks microphones around. Yeah, obsesses and wants to get all the time. So I felt a little guilty about going to the newspaper stand and stealing, put $1 in and I took all the papers, right? I started to feel a little guilty about that. And then I thought, oh, her husband has all the coupons. So I finagled my way in there and got the coupons from Kim. And one day, I was leaving her house, and she walked out on the front porch with me after I did a test. It's a 20-question test she had me do. Yeah. And I got one wrong. It was a no. Does alcohol interfere with your work? No, I don't do that. Ain't never gonna happen. He does it. Yeah, no, never interfered. But anyways, it said at the bottom of that 20-question test, if you answered one yes to this, you may have a problem with alcohol. And if you answered 2 or more, you're probably alcoholic. I went, oh, I'm probably alcoholic. Me. Yeah, I figured I was alcoholic. So I wanted to leave right then. So I go out and she's with me and I told her, and this is how and the why of getting sober. How? God put me in front of a woman that was 4 years sober in her home. She was sharing with me, gave me a little test. And the why is because I knew. And so I told her, this is the first time I ever told another human being this. And in our book it says that's how we get this thing, is by telling on ourselves. I told her, I said, Kim, I'm probably alcoholic, but I'm never gonna tell anybody. Whoops, I already did. I told her and I told God that day. And guess what happened next? My husband and I never saw eye to eye, except for in one place. Woo! We had it all together. Anywhere else, no. We were toe to toe. So one night, I ended up on her front doorstep, not mine, and I asked her to take me to a meeting with her, and she did. And you know what? She took Sharon, too. And Sharon lived next door. I thought, is this lady sobering up everybody on this block? I really thought that. So I went to the Open Door in Lancaster, California. And it was not September 10th, 1989, my sober birthday. It was August 21st, 1989. And it was a podium meeting like this. And they said, if you have had a drink in the last 24 hours, don't share. I don't listen to nobody. I might be a real alcoholic. I am undisciplined. I'm a mess. So, yeah. So I run up to the podium and I say, I'm Becky, I'm alcoholic, and I can't come here anymore because my husband and my children won't let me. Who talks like that? That was crazy. And this little old man stood up and he pointed his finger at Becky and he said, listen, lady, however you found to get your here, get your booze, you find the same way to get your here. I went, oh my gosh. And I'm going to tell you, God is good. Because I did not ever get direction from somebody that spoke kindly to Becky. I was used to abuse. I was used to having the fear of God put in me in order for me to do anything. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm coming. And you know what I did? I got it. Keep coming back, Becky. We need you. Keep coming back, Becky. This one lady over in Florida, when I moved there, my sister lived there, by the way. But anyways, she would say, keep coming back, even if your beep falls off. Put it in a brown paper bag and bring it to a meeting. I love her, because mine was always falling off. I was one big problem after another when I got to Alcoholics. So I'd call my sponsor, my mama Carol, and I'd start going about him. And she'd say, Becky, turn to page. You know that big book of Alcoholics Anonymous? God gave that to me right from the gate. God knows, Becky. He knows me, what I need, what I gotta have. I mean, so let's fast forward a couple weeks. I go to a meeting, and I'm sitting there, and Scooter Mike and this nurse are sharing about drugs. Goodness. This is an AA meeting. Shush. Not today. This is the miracle, what happened for me. So I'm sitting there and they're talking about not using anything, no substance that's going to alter your mental state from the neck up. No, because she went out on her pills and her this and that at the hospital, lost her sobriety, almost died. He was a pot-smoking fool. So I go home, great meeting, hour and a half, Lancaster, California. And this was not at the Open Door, it was another meeting, the Air Club. So I go home, and Michael Paul's there with an 8-ball of cocaine. He says, look. I go, wait. My heart starts to race, and I start sweating. I'm thinking, okay, serenity prayer. Okay, God grant me F it. That's as far as I got. And it was on. So this is the steps. Let's get the steps involved in this. I got 1 and 2 really fast because I survived that weekend. Most people probably don't. More alcoholics die from this disease than live. It's not something where we have a cure and we get to live. I got a disease that wants to kill my butt. It goes like this. My head says drink and my body says more, period. So anyways, I'm thinking, that was insane what I did. Because I got back to Alcoholics Anonymous, September 10th, 1989, to the open door and tattled on myself and told them what I'd done. But I thought, isn't that insane? I did not drink. That was cuckoo. I am nuts. I need that. That's two. I need it quickly. My God. Yeah, that's crazy. Who would do all that and not drink? And I told Jody earlier, you know, is it odd or is it God? And that was God. Letting Becky know, hey, the steps, they're right here. And I went to that meeting, tattled on myself, and I was like my friend Jody, you know. I'd be of service, and I'd sit at that, where you, let's see, what is it called? Where you go and you, let's see, central office. It's called central office. So I'd go and sit there, and I would just be of service all day long while my kids were in school because I didn't want to drink. And I would sit at my sponsor's house. And I heard earlier here tonight about being high, getting a high out of life or whatever. You know what I found out in Alcoholics Anonymous one day at a time, working with my Mama Carol and working with other drunks, is what I get when I give what I have to somebody is joy. And I don't care whether it's my sobriety I give away. I don't care if it's clothes I give away. I don't care. I'll tell you a story. Lynette and her husband went to the open door all the time and had 5 kids. I couldn't even handle 2. You guys had to teach me what the heck to do with those 2. My goodness. It's just running wild until you ladies would tell me, just show me how to be a mommy. But anyway, 5 kids. And so I'm calling my Mama Carol and I'm complaining and moaning and groaning. And she says, Becky, you know what I'm doing? I said, no. Like I care. I don't even know. Shush. I'm complaining here. She says, I'm packing stuff up to give it away. I thought, what the heck does she have to give away? She don't got nothing. My thinking. So I get off the phone and I go, okay, I got to package stuff up and I got to give it away. So I get some cowboy boots, a baseball bat, I get some clothes and a little bag. I go to the open door. And after the meeting, I asked Lynette, I said, would you like some stuff for your kids? And she said, yes. I go to my car, I have a car, car, house, kids, complaining. Jeez, I don't even know. So, yeah, that was joy that day to give those away. So my sponsor, she told me, you got to go to school. No, I don't. I'm a taker, remember? Whatever you have is mine. That's how it works. Not so fast, Becky. Okay, so I got to get a job. Roman and Vito, they'd come to the 9 o'clock Palmdale group. I'd go there 9 o'clock every morning. And at the end of their pitch, they'd say, get a job. I thought they were talking to me. So here's school, here's work. I'm going, what the heck? You know, I'm normally home just burning cookies, getting hollered at. I don't know, what are we doing here? Having to work, go to school? Well, the first thing I did do is I got a job. And I started working. And by the time I was 36 years old, I paid attention. My Mama Carol, she had told me, Becky, when there's a train coming, you got to get off the tracks. Oops. That had gone over my head a long time, about 5 years into my sobriety. I was almost 6 years sober. But by the grace of God, I was able to do the work to get off those tracks. I wasn't able to get off those tracks. God protected me the whole way while Becky was going home to that abuse. And I remember I'd come home and his lips would be locked on that door that didn't hit me. Wow, how'd that happen? Blow my mind. So anyways, I'm 36 years old. I got an 11 and 12-year-old, and my 12-year-old is going in the garage and getting a dive bag. What do you think's in the dive bag? You think there's dive stuff in the dive bag? No. My husband was a very busy man. He was a firefighter and a hustler. He loved to hustle. But anyways, the boys were going to start hustling. Oops. Nope. My sponsor and 4 beautiful ladies got me out of that home, poured me on a plane to Florida. And right before my 6th birthday, my 6th sober birthday, can you guess who's in Florida? My sister. Yes. So we lived with her for a minute, and I got a job. Could you believe that? And then I started going to school, that school thing. That was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years down the road. Yeah. So in Alcoholics Anonymous, I've kept coming back like I'm doing right now. And you know what? I wanted to turn around, actually. I'm getting on the freeway. I haven't been on a freeway a hot second. And I'm getting on the freeway, and there's a zillion cars in front of me. And we're going 2 miles an hour. I'm going, okay, no, it's not really that worth it. Jeez. But you know what? Guess what? Alcoholics Anonymous taught Becky to keep coming back. No, I needed to come. God put it on my heart the last couple days. I never thought anything more about speaking until Ruth called me. A young lady named Ruth reached out to Becky and wanted to know if I was speaking, if I was available. And I was taught in Alcoholics Anonymous this: if someone asks you to do something in AA, you do it. I don't care if you got 1 minute in Alcoholics Anonymous or 100 years. If Becky's asked to do something in Alcoholics Anonymous, I do it. I kept driving, and I called my sister. And I kept her on the phone the whole way here. Is this dark out? It's little roads, tons of people, a little scary spice. No, I came here. And when I got to this meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, sort of familiar like there's gazillions of meetings I've been to, there was people that greeted me and called out my name and welcomed me. And more importantly, I welcome the people here, and I hear you, and I feel a part of. And like I told you earlier when I started talking, that I love AA, and I love you. And that's really strange. The hate is gone. The hate is gone for that person that hurt Becky. You guys, you know what you did? You flipped the script on me, man. You know what you did? You made me look at Becky. Who's Becky hurt? Oops. Lots of people. I've hurt lots of people in my life. Might not be the same as you hurt me, but guess what? I hurt. If you stole from me, forgiven. If you abused me, forgiven. You know what? I got it in me too. So, you guys have taught me to forgive, to love, to care, to keep coming back. Remember, I got a forgetter on my shoulders? It's why I come back. Leave Becky out there on her own, unattended. Whew. Bad news. You know what? It's not, it's this thing sitting on my little, oops. Sorry, Mike. It's this little thing sitting on my shoulders. You know, it's got a lot to say. And I'm going to tell you, if you have a problem with head noise and your little brain chattering and you following whatever it says, let me give you a trick. When I was new sober, I was blessed to talk with a beautiful woman, 32 years sober to my 4 months. How's that happen? And she said to Becky, Becky, you have control of your mind. And I said, oh, no, I don't. I did not agree with that sentence at all. She said, yes, you do, Becky. Whenever a thought comes in your mind, I want you to capture it. Hey, I'm good at that. I'm good at catching stuff, trust me. So she says, catch it. And then if it's a good thought, keep it. If it's not, you say this. Thanks for the thought. I choose to ignore you today. Whoa. And you know what? I started practicing that, and I practice it to this day. Because God knows what comes in this head. You should hear it. Oh my goodness. I'll wake up in the morning and have something to say. And I'm going, no, no. And the other day it was about money. I'm going to tell you what I brought to Alcoholics Anonymous: sloth and fear of financial insecurity. Why would I ever be afraid of that? I took everything I wanted. That was weird. I never wanted for nothing. Houses, cars, I didn't care. If you had it, I got it. That was weird. But yeah, so my brain was talking about money, all the inheritance I lost. Well, you didn't lose nothing, Becky. This is the deal. God has given me everything He wants me to have, and He's taken away everything that He doesn't want me to have. Do you know that? That's the truth. And for a hot second, I wasn't even awake yet, and my mind wanted to talk stuff. I think I was going to the restroom. Jeez, calm down, head. So this thing's sitting on my shoulders. Today, we can have conversations. I could say, no, thank you. Or I could say, oh, that's a great thought. Go to a meeting. Going. Do the dishes. On it. You know what I'm saying? Something simple. Open the door for you. Come on in. Can I help you in any way? Great thought. Let's go. The other thoughts of I'm not good enough, or, where's mine? When am I going to get it? How am I going to get it? Where is it? No, not today. I want to thank Alcoholics Anonymous for giving me this beautiful life I have. I think, for Becky, the easier, softer way to live life is to do what I found in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, September 10th, 1989. I want to share about my sister. This is a miracle. This young lady, she's very smart. She's always worked hard. She's always given and loving and caring. And what I've always done is chased her around the world to get what she has. So today, by the grace of God and the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, what I do is I spend my time giving back to her. Not out of guilt, not out of shame, not out of nothing. I'll talk about guilt and shame in a second. But out of respect, out of honest love and caring for her. So when I was still living in Florida, she called me. And she says, Becky, I talked to Scott. And I told him when we were building our house, if he wants you to live with us, to build a 4-bedroom. But if he doesn't, just build a 3. And that phone conversation was weird. I thought, you're building a home for me, okay. Normally, that old Becky would have said, great. Where do I sign? It's mine. No. I thought, well, if I ever, retire and get older, maybe. I own my own home here in Florida. I got my job. I got everything I need. And so I'd come out here. I'd come here to Vegas all the time, visit my mom, who was ill with Parkinson's, and not my stepdad, because him and I toe-to-toe. That guy, it took God a long time to get that one out of Becky. 8 years, 18 years, I don't know, long time. But anyway, so I'm coming out here and I'm seeing my room built and my bathroom and everything, happy. And one of these days when I get older, well, my sister and I go on cruises every Mother's Day. And something was going on with her. And I said, Shelley, don't come if you're sick. Don't come. Just stay home. She came. She's headstrong too, my sister. Don't get me wrong. She comes from my mom, very headstrong. So she comes, and we go on the cruise, and she could barely walk. I take her to the infirmary against her will, and they take a thing this big, a vial of fluid off her knee. Okay, no good. Get home, and I'm babysitting a dog for a friend, and we're staying there, and she goes, sees her friend, and comes back, and she can't walk. I got to about carry her into the house and take care of her. So that was in May. God does this for Becky. He usually does it in bed for some reason, or in the bathroom. I don't get it, those two places. So I sit up, and what I'm thinking when I sit up is the truth. You're selling your house and you're moving to Vegas. So I call my son and I tell him I'd met a realtor, and my son said, no, Jackie can sell it. I'm going to tell you, in 3 weeks, that house was sold. June 1st, I was in Vegas, and maybe a year after that, we lost my mom, but my sister was diagnosed with RA. It's rheumatoid arthritis. And she had to get treatment, and she's been under treatment for a few years now and doing great. Great. But so that's why I'm here in Vegas, mom, sister, family. So, you know, God guides me where he wants me tonight. Instead of turning around and saying, oh, too much, I'm here and I'm blessed. And then I wanted to talk about the shame and the guilt for those of you that carry it. Like, for me, if I ask God for something, 9 times out of 10, he takes care of it. However, God's like grandpa. Sometimes it takes forever. It's like, okay, dear Lord, let's do it. I'm really struggling here. I think I heard that today. I'm really struggling here. So when I came to you folks, I came with a lot of shame and guilt. Didn't know it yet. You guys made me feel like, it made me go inward to Becky and think. And then, you know what they told me? I'd call my sponsor and I said, I feel like this and this and this, and I feel so guilty. And she said, you know why you feel like that, Becky? Because you probably are. I said, oh, jeez. Because you probably are. Oops. So this is the deal for those that have been sober a long time, and not for you that are brand new sober. Just hopefully it gets in or you keep hearing it. But Larry, he used to always say in a meeting, if you can't bring it here and share it about it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Oh, okay. And me, guess what I would do? I shouldn't be doing it, but I shared it. I tattled on myself every freaking step of the way, and I still do. What is Becky doing? Well, today there's nothing to tattle on. Today I'm not doing much of anything. Playing my games. Listen to this. I know those little games. Obsessed. So I think I told you guys about that beautiful house. Remember, it's beautiful, picture perfect on the inside and out. And the only reason there was no weeds is because that guy made us pull every darn last one of them, or else. Otherwise, there'd be weeds, I'm sure. So the abuse that was going on inside of that house was like ferocious. The neighbors could hear Becky screaming all the way down at the end of the block on Fair Avenue in Sun Valley, California. And so this man and I went toe-to-toe for a lot of years. I mean, I don't know how many years. And one day, and this is how Alcoholics Anonymous works, by the grace of God and the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous only. I never got this anywhere but here. After praying, after reading, after working with my sponsor, after coming here one day at a time for many, many years, one day it was gone. I had written a letter when I had to do another 4-step. I don't know how many I've done in my life, but I love the steps. I'll do 1 through 1 through 12 every day, thank you. So I'd written him and my mom a letter, letting them know where I'd harmed them. Because I surely knew while they were gone, I'd go and steal everything they had. Because it was mine, right? And because how they treated me, I deserved it, right? But anyways, I wasn't good. So I shared with them, and you know, when I got sober, and my parents found out I was sober, and my sister found out I was sober, I think they were honestly like blown away. To this day, my sister's checking in like, wow, like seriously, Beck? And my dad doesn't drink, and my mom quit drinking. I thought, what did they do that for? I never saw them have a problem with alcohol. They just had it, tons of it. But yeah, my dad even said tonight something about drinking. I don't drink. Well, that's great. I don't ask questions, nothing. I just listen today. You guys taught me something about that. You know? Talk less, listen more. Listen to learn to listen. Yeah. So anyways, I sat with my dad, him here, me here on this couch, after 4 days of laying with my mom when she passed in 2018. And I don't know what happened. I can't tell you what happened. Only God knows what happened, because he did it. We're sitting there on this couch. We're not going toe to toe. There's not a hateful feeling in my body, not in my mind, nothing. He's being kind to me. That man didn't like Becky. I always come at that guy. I didn't care. But anyway, so my son was getting married 2 days later on Friday in Florida. And here's my mom's gone. And I told my dad and my sister, I'm not going nowhere. And you know what my dad said to me? This man that despised Becky, he said to me, you need to go. Your mom would want you to go. I was bawling my eyes out. I wasn't wanting to hit him. I wasn't wanting to do the things I used to want to do to him. I was gone. Went to my son's wedding, and I don't know if you all have children in Alcoholics Anonymous and they grow up, whoops, and you have no control. They're gone, living their best lives. You know, I have the disease of alcoholism, and it's a family disease. Becky don't own it by herself. And I would tell my boys, don't drink. 2 words, you know, sensible. 2 alcoholic parents, 9 times out of 10, we have more. Don't drink. I don't know why children don't listen to their parents. You know what my sister says to me? You want to hear? She says, Becky, did you listen to us? Oh, gosh. That's killing me, man. So I have 2 sons, and they're living their best lives. I mean, they are phenomenal. They got all the stuff, they got all the girls, they got the wife, the girl for life, the millions. And Becky, this is what I used to always do. I'd look at them drinking, and I'd have a fit. Oops. They still let me in their life. They still love me. They forgive me for everything that I did to them after I let them know where I was wrong. But they still don't listen to Mom when she says, don't drink. So this is what I was taught in Alcoholics Anonymous, so it's okay whether you drink or not, whether you do whatever or not. This is what I got taught, and I practice it today so I can live life free, happy, and however else God wants me to live it. This is what we say. God does not have any grandchildren. Yeah, they're God's kids, they're not mine. So, right, King Danny? They're God's. And he'll do a great job with them. And I pray that those of you that are suffering with children that are out there, that you'll give them to God too. Let him have it. He'll do a great job. I promise you that. Just for today, Becky doesn't drink. Becky doesn't do no dope no matter what. But what I do is this. In the morning when I wake up, I hit my knees and I ask God to keep me sober. And then I get it on with my prayers. And I'm going to tell you what, it wasn't always like that. If you're new, slow down. Prayers are in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Use those. I'd hit my knees, I'd start praying, and I was going to kill them all. I told God, you did it wrong. No. My mama Carol got a hold of me, and she opened up that big book to Bill's story on page 13, and there's your first prayer. And our Southern friend, I don't know what the page is, read our Southern friend, and you'll get to the prayer where it says, God, I've made a mess of things. I can't do anything about it. Here's me and all my troubles, and do whatever you want. Those were the prayers I had to stick to when I was new. Today, I can hit my knees, I can ask for sobriety, I can ask God to help my friends and my family with His grace, with His peace, with His will. I ask for His will and the power to carry it out. I can do that today. And then I get up and I go downstairs and I start meditating on good things. Because this thing will go south in a heartbeat. This disease centers in Becky's mind. It's not in my body. It's in my mind. And in order to help this, I have to do a few things that you guys have taught me to do. So I meditate. I meditate on the daily reflections. I meditate on the ODAT one day at a time because I'm a double winner. I got family that chooses to drink. And I read the Bible. I love the Bible. And I don't have to do the steps just right here in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've had to take people through the Jewish steps. We've had to go to the library and get them because they're Jewish. I've had to do it every which way. I've had to work it with drug addicts. I've had to work it with Al-Anon folks. I love the steps. They work on everybody. We just gotta work them. Yeah, just gotta work them. So today, I continue to be powerless over alcohol. Becky's life is unmanageable. And I have come to believe in a power greater than myself. That one is God. Yeah, may you find Him now. And I love you guys. Thank you for letting me share.